Hello everyone, I am Dr. Trupti and you are watching my YouTube channel Enjoy Biochemistry. In the video lecture series on vitamins, today let's learn the first B complex vitamin, that is vitamin B1, which is also called as thiamine. In addition to that, we are also going to learn about two case studies. The first is dry beriberi and the second is Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. Thiamine is the first B complex vitamin. It is a water soluble vitamin. It should be differentiated from a similar term, that is thymine. It is a nitrogenous base present in the DNA, which is a pyrimidine. It is also called as anti-beriberi vitamin. Beriberi means weakness. It is a Cialis term which means I can't do. It is also called as anurine or anti-neuritic vitamin. The deficiency of this vitamin leads to neuritis, and if thiamine supplementation is given, it can relieve neuritis. It is a sulfur containing vitamin. It has sulfur in its structure. There are some other vitamins which also have sulfur in their structure like biotin, pantothenic acid and lipoic acid. This is the structure of thymine pyrophosphate, which is the active form or coenzyme form of vitamin thiamine. And this thymine pyrophosphate has a pyrimidine ring. This pyrimidine ring, it is connected to this thiazole ring. And this vitamin thiamine, it is the only natural compound with thiazole ring, and this is synthesized by plants, yeast and bacteria. In the structure of thymine pyrophosphate, this pyrophosphate group, this is linked to the thiazole ring, and this reaction is catalyzed by enzyme thymine pyrophosphate phosphotransferase. So this is the structure of thymine pyrophosphate, which is the active form of vitamin B1. It is the coenzyme form and it is synthesized by plants, yeast and bacteria. Coming to the dietary sources and RDA of thiamine, it is derived from the plant sources. The rich source is aileron layer of cereals. So this is the picture of cereal showing this aileron layer. This is bran and inside that there is aileron layer. So this aileron layer, it has thiamine. So the sources are unrefined cereals, grains, rice, wheat and various legumes. Whole wheat flour and unpolished rice has these are the rich sources of thiamine. And polishing of rice removes 80% of thiamine. The various animal sources are liver, kidney, milk and yeast. We know that thiamine is water soluble and that's why it is excreted into water during cooking process. RDA in adults is 1 to 1.5 mg per day. In children it is 0.7 to 1.2 mg per day. In pregnancy and lactation the requirement is increased to 2 mg per day. The absorption of thiamine in the small intestine mainly occurs in jejunum and it is carrier mediated active transport, but at higher concentration it can be absorbed by passive diffusion. Through the intestine it reaches liver via portal circulation, and from the liver it enters circulation in the form of free thiamine. So in the circulation it is present in the form of free thiamine, but in the cells it is present in the form of its coenzyme form, that is thymine pyrophosphate, and 50% of thymine pyrophosphate it is present in skeletal muscle and rest 50% is present in heart, liver, kidney and nerve tissues. Now let's see the biochemical functions of thiamine. This thiamine, it is very important in carbohydrate metabolism because it is connected with the energy releasing reactions of carbohydrate metabolism, and that's why it is called as energy releasing vitamin. We will see why this vitamin is called as energy releasing vitamin. So this thymine pyrophosphate, which is a coenzyme form of thymine, it plays various roles. It is the coenzyme of pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. Now this pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, it is the multi-enzyme complex having 3 enzymes and 5 coenzymes. So out of these 5 coenzymes, thymine pyrophosphate is one of the coenzyme, and This pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, it is responsible for oxidative decarboxylation of pyruvate to acetyl-CoA. The second enzyme complex is alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, which is also responsible for oxidative phosphorylation. Then branch chain alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, which will also cause oxidative decarboxylation. This thymine pyrophosphate, it is also a coenzyme of transketolase enzyme and it has role in transmission of nerve impulse. So this thymine plays various roles, mainly oxidative decarboxylation. It is a coenzyme of transketolase enzyme and it has a role in transmission of nerve impulse. Now we know that the process of glycolysis, there is formation of pyruvate from glucose. Further, this pyruvate, it is converted or oxidatively decarboxylated to form acetyl-CoA by the action of this enzyme pyruvate dehydrogenase. And TPP is the coenzyme of this enzyme pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, and in this process there is release of NADH, which is reducing equivalent, and later it is oxidized through electron transport chain to form ATP. So that's how it is related with the energy releasing process. Further, this acetyl-CoA, it enters TCA cycle, and one of the intermediate of TCA cycle is alpha ketoglutarate. Now the conversion of alpha ketoglutarate to succinate requires alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, which is also multi-enzyme complex like pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. It causes oxidative decarboxylation of alpha ketoglutarate to succinate, and during this process also reducing equivalent like NADH are formed and they are oxidized through electron transport chain to form ATP, and that's why this thymine, it is called as energy releasing vitamin. The third important enzyme, that is branch chain alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, it causes oxidative decarboxylation of valine, leucine, isoleucine in muscle to form their respective keto acids. Now transketolase. Transketolase, this is the enzyme of HMP pathway, and HMP pathway is very important for NADPH formation as well as it has role in nucleic acid formation because it results in the formation of ribose sugar, which are required for nucleic acid formations. And in addition to that, thymine pyrophosphate also has role in transmission of nerve impulse. One more thing about this, the role of thymine is that as pyruvate dehydrogenase complex leads to formation of acetyl-CoA, and acetyl-CoA has various fates like fatty acid synthesis, cholesterol synthesis, and if there is deficiency of this thymine pyrophosphate, there will be less fatty acid synthesis, there will be less cholesterol, so in turn it will affect the myelination of neurons, and that's why deficiency of thymine will lead to neurological manifestations or neuritis. So these are the various biochemical functions of thymine. Now coming to the thymine deficiency, various causes of thymine deficiency and clinical manifestations of thymine deficiency. So the first important cause is consumption of polished rice as a staple food. Polishing the rice will remove alluron layer of the rice which has thymine in it. So the thymine will be removed, and it will lead to consumption of polished rice will lead to thymine deficiency. So if it is consumed over a long period of time, it will lead to thymine deficiency. It can also occur in the nutritionally deprived alcoholics because alcohol inhibit the intestinal absorption of thymine. So it is also one of the important cause of thymine deficiency. Breastfed infants born to mothers with thymine deficiency, and if there is thymine deficiency in the mother and the breastfed baby will not get enough thymine and it will lead to thymine deficiency. Some ferns and consumption of raw fishes, seafood, they contain the enzyme thymidinase, and this thymidinase, it is the antivitamin. This thymidinase is an enzyme which cleaves thymine to pyrimidine ring and thiazole ring and destroys it, and that's why the consumption of raw fishes, seafood, it will lead to thiamine deficiency. And there are thiamine antagonists like pyrithiamine, oxythiamine. These are the structural analogues of thiamine, which will cleave the thiamine and separate the pyrimidine ring and thiazole ring, and thereby they will reduce its activity. So it is present in some ferns, and that's why the consumption of all these things will lead to thiamine deficiency. Now, what are the various manifestations of thiamine deficiency? So it will result in various conditions. The first one is dry beriberi. Second condition is wet beriberi. Third condition is infantile beriberi. And the fourth condition is Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. So there are 4 clinical conditions due to thiamine deficiency: dry beriberi, wet beriberi, infantile beriberi, and Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. What are the various biochemical changes that can occur in thiamine deficiency? We know that thiamine plays a very important role in carbohydrate metabolism, so that carbohydrate metabolism will be impaired. So from pyruvate, the conversion of pyruvate to acetyl-CoA requires thiamine pyrophosphate, and conversion of alpha-ketoglutarate to succinate also requires this thiamine pyrophosphate, so that carbohydrate metabolism will be impaired. And as the pyruvate cannot be converted into acetyl-CoA, there will be accumulation of pyruvate in the tissues. So there will be increased pyruvic acid level in the blood, and as pyruvate will not be converted to acetyl-CoA, it will lead to formation of lactic acid. So there will be conversion of pyruvic acid to lactic acid, and lactic acid concentration will increase, and it will lead to the condition called as lactic acidosis. And what will happen if there is decreased acetyl-CoA formation due to deficiency of thiamine pyrophosphate? And we know that the formation of acetyl-CoA from pyruvate, there is formation of NADH. Also acetyl-CoA undergoes TCA cycle, there is formation of NADH. These are the reducing equivalents which will undergo or oxidize through the electron transport chain to form ATP. So there will be lack of ATP. So ATP level will be decreased, and ATP is very important for the cellular functions. So there will be decreased cellular functions, and it will affect mainly all the cells, but brain and heart will be affected mostly. Now, as there is lack of acetyl-CoA and the neurotransmitter acetylcholine requires this acetyl-CoA, there will be decreased acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter. Acetyl-CoA is also a precursor for cholesterol synthesis. So if there is lack of acetyl-CoA, there will be decreased cholesterol, which is required for the insulation of nerve fibers. So there will be decreased nerve insulation, and all these will lead to defective nervous system functioning. So this is the biochemical basis of various defective nervous system functions as well as neurological manifestations in case of thiamine deficiency. So first we will see about dry beriberi. Dry beriberi, it is associated with the neurological manifestations, and that's why it is called as neurological beriberi. So here we can see that in this picture the person is showing various symptoms of dry beriberi, and the common symptoms are loss of tendon reflexes, burning, tingling sensation, numbness of feet, painful tender muscles, and there is great weakness, wrist drop, inability to speak. The patient is emaciated and confused. So there are various neurological symptoms. So the neurological manifestations will include peripheral neuritis. There is numbness, tingling sensation in the lower legs and feet. The gait becomes ataxic. There is muscle wasting and walking becomes difficult. So the person will be unable to walk properly. There will be mental confusion and demyelination of sensory and motor nerves. So this dry beriberi, it is associated with the neurological manifestations, and that's why it is called as neurological beriberi. Wet beriberi, it is due to severe deficiency of thiamine. Wet beriberi is different from dry beriberi. It is associated with the cardiac symptoms. Cardiovascular manifestations are prominent in the wet beriberi. So the heart muscles become weak. There is edema of legs, face, trunk and serous cavities. So such kind of pitting edema can be seen on the legs. There will be tachycardia, palpitations, heart rate will be increased, palpitation, difficulty in breathing will be there. The heart becomes enlarged. So this is a normal heart, and in the wet beriberi, the heart will be enlarged. And death may occur due to heart failure. So wet beriberi is mainly associated with the severe deficiency of thiamine, and it is manifested as cardiovascular symptoms. The third type is infantile beriberi, and the manifestations are seen in the infants who are born to mothers suffering from severe vitamin B1 deficiency. It is present in the 2nd to 5th month of life, and the clinical features are restlessness, sleeplessness, anorexia, edema. There is loss of voice and heart rate is increased. So these are the various clinical features seen in infantile beriberi. The fourth clinical condition associated with thiamine deficiency is cerebral beriberi. It is also called as Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, and this is present in chronic alcoholics. Why in chronic alcoholics? Because alcohol impair the absorption of thiamine from the intestine, so it leads to severe thiamine deficiency. Also, alcoholics, they tend to consume or have less food. So inadequate diet in alcoholics is one of the important reason for this cerebral beriberi or deficiency of vitamin B1. And it affects both peripheral as well as central nervous system. And neuronal death will occur due to impaired cerebral energy metabolism, because thiamine deficiency will be associated with the less ATP production, and that's why it leads to neuronal death. Now there are two conditions, Wernicke's disease and Korsakoff syndrome. So what is this Wernicke's disease? Wernicke's disease, it is an acute condition. This is reversible. It can be reversed with the supplementation of thiamine. And this is characterized by three important clinical manifestations like global confusion, ophthalmoplegia and ataxia. So this can be remembered as GOA, global confusion, ophthalmoplegia and ataxia. So the person will be disoriented. The symptoms which are seen in the eyes are paralysis of eye muscle, and it leads to nystagmus. Nystagmus means the eye movements become, there will be involuntary eye movements, and the size of pupil will be altered. So you can see in both the eyes the pupil size is different. This is called as anisocoria, and the gait is altered. So it is called as ataxia. Wernicke's disease, it is characterized by three main manifestations: global confusion, ophthalmoplegia and ataxia. Now what is Korsakoff disease? This is the chronic condition. It occurs when Wernicke's disease is left untreated. This is not reversible condition, and it is characterized by confabulation. The patient makes various stories. There is lack of concern, apathy is there, loss of memory, reasoning. So there is dementia, and person with this Korsakoff syndrome don't realize that he or she is having this disorder. So these are the various manifestations of Korsakoff disease. This is also called as cerebral beriberi, and it is associated with chronic alcoholism. Laboratory assessment of thiamine deficiency includes the estimation of erythrocyte transcriptase activity, which will be decreased in thiamine deficiency. Serum thiamine level will be decreased, and plasma, pyruvic acid and lactic acid level will be increased. The treatment will include supplementation of thiamine, and thiamine supplementation should be given before administering the glucose to treat Wernicke's encephalopathy. In today's video, we have seen the dietary sources, RDA, various biochemical functions, causes of deficiency and various deficiency manifestations, biochemical basis of deficiency manifestations, laboratory assessment and treatment of thiamine deficiency. Now we will see one case study, that is dry beriberi. A 35-year-old alcoholic male residing in South Indian village has polished rice as his staple diet. He is hospitalized with symptoms of poor appetite, peripheral neuropathy, muscular weakness, difficulty in walking without support. On examination, there was no edema and his peripheral sensations were reduced. Systemic examination was within normal limits. So on this case study, various questions can be asked like what is the probable diagnosis, justify, the cause of condition, clinical features of the condition, biochemical basis of clinical features, investigation, treatment, etc. So here the diagnosis is dry beriberi. Why dry beriberi? Because the person is alcoholic, and first it is beriberi because the person has history of consuming polished rice which is deficient in thymin, and thymin deficiency leads to beriberi. Alcoholism, alcohol impairs the absorption of thymin, it leads to thymin deficiency. The clinical manifestations are also of thymin deficiency, and there was no edema, and that's why it is a dry beriberi. And what is the biochemical basis of all these clinical features? We know that this thiamine is an energy releasing vitamin. It is important for formation of acetyl-CoA from pyruvate by oxidative decarboxylation. And if it is deficient, there will be less acetyl-CoA. And less acetyl-CoA means there will be less ATP, there will be less fatty acid synthesis, less cholesterol which are required for myelination, less acetylcholine which is a neurotransmitter. So all these things will lead to various neurological manifestations. So this is about the case of dry beriberi. Second case is Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. A 55-year-old chronic alcoholic male was hospitalized with symptoms of anxiety, confusion, loss of memory and inability to coordinate. On examination, he was having nystagmus and deranged mental function, and his laboratory results showed decreased level of serum thiamine. As this patient is chronic alcoholic and showing the various symptoms of various neurological manifestations, and there is nystagmus, mental function is deranged, thiamine level is decreased. So this is the case of Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. Now let's see some multiple choice questions related to thiamine. The first is vitamin B1 coenzyme TPP is involved in hydroxylation, transamination, carboxylation or oxidative decarboxylation. So here the answer is oxidative decarboxylation, because thiamine pyrophosphate is a coenzyme of pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase complex. So that's why it is involved in oxidative decarboxylation. Wernicke's disease can be reversed by administering thiamine, pyridoxine, cobalamin or niacin. And we know that Wernicke's disease is caused due to deficiency of thiamine, and that's why it will be reversed with the administration of thiamine. So the answer is A here. The vitamin required for oxidative decarboxylation is it thiamine, pyridoxine, biotin or niacin? So we know that thiamine is required for oxidative decarboxylation. So answer is thiamine. The following enzyme is used as a measure of thiamine deficiency. So which enzyme is used as a measure? Is it pyruvate dehydrogenase, erythrocyte transketolase, alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase or decarboxylase? So to assess the thiamine deficiency, erythrocyte transketolase activity is measured, and that's why the answer is B here, that is erythrocyte transketolase. Thiamine pyrophosphate is required for the following enzymatic activity. Is it required for hexokinase, transketolase, transaldolase or glucose 6-phosphatase? We know that it is required for transketolase, which is the enzyme of HMP pathway. So here the answer is B. Beriberi is caused by deficiency of thiamine, threonine, tyrosine. So it is caused due to deficiency of B1 vitamin, that is thiamine. So answer is thiamine. A. In thiamine deficiency, serum level of following compound is increased. Is it glycine, pyruvic acid, glutamic acid or transketolase? So we know that in thiamine deficiency there is increase in pyruvic acid and lactic acid levels. So the answer here is B, that is pyruvic acid. Neuritis is a manifestation of deficiency of following vitamins except thiamine, vitamin B12, pantothenic acid, vitamin C. So the neuritis manifestation is seen in deficiency of thiamine also, B12 and pantothenic acid. It is not seen in deficiency of vitamin C. So here the answer is D, that is vitamin C. So that's all about vitamin B1, that is thiamine. If you find the content on this channel useful, please subscribe the channel, like and share the videos and help this channel to grow. Thank you for watching and happy learning.